And we certainly learnt a lot from it. I mean, it was unusual for us in that we had to engage the company on multiple levels throughout the process. We've engaged them. We engaged them on the listing question. We encourage them to speak to the regulatory authorities about why they shouldn't be delisted. We engage them extensively on the question of candidates for the board, and we've engaged them on the issue of capital raising and restructuring multiple times. So we've been, I think, much more involved in making suggestions to the new management of the company about the way we think the business should be run, or about international comparisons or benchmarks. We're not an activist fund. We don't get involved in activist investing. If you want to describe this situation as soft activism, I suppose that could be an appropriate term. We've certainly lobbied policymakers and regulatory authorities and the company itself on various issues. And I think that has had a positive outcome. I don't think we see the outcome of the board, for example, being optimal. But as I mentioned, I think it's certainly better than it would have been had we not engaged the company. We and others, we were not alone. But had investors not engaged the company, I think it would have been an even worse outcome for the board. So I think that's an example where constructive engagement with the management of a company, taking the moral high ground, being very mature, very sensible, non-threatening, but just having a very watertight, rigorous argument about the way minority investors should be treated and about the optimal outcome for the revival of the business. And I think our arguments did resonate both with Olympus and with others involved in Olympus. And I think that was encouraging for us. So yeah, I think that may embolden us to try something else along similar lines in the future. But as I said, these kind of major dislocations don't come around very often. They don't grow on trees. We may see one of those every 5 years. That was a very unusual event. And, I don't expect us to be involved in anything quite like that again soon. But I think it does prove that constructive engagement between minority investors and company managements in Japan can achieve positive outcomes. And I think Japan has a bad reputation for governance. And as you may know, Oliver, there are some examples where activist investors have not had a positive experience in Japan. But I think the Olympus case is a good example where constructive engagement and mature engagement with companies can affect outcomes in a positive manner.